So today's video, we're going to have a little chat about lighting upgrades for the Lexmoto ZSB 125. Let's talk about first of all why the existing headlamp's not really up to much. Even though Scott seems to have now a bit of a scratch on there, then how he's managed to do that. First of all, it's a very cheap unit. It's got a horrible plastic lens, like all modern vehicles, which is absolutely atrocious. I don't know what manufacturers are thinking by fixing plastic lenses to motorbikes or to cars, because they just soon discolour in the UV and they get grit marks them and they get scratched very easily. Sorry, I'm old school, but a glass one is just so much more durable. I really don't understand it. The reflector itself is very crude. It's not particularly well chromed. It is what it is, really. You know, it's not the world's most expensive bike. It's not a bike that's going to be out riding high speed on unlit A roads. You know, it's a headlight that's going to be used quite sparingly. So it's not really a big problem. For you, it might not really be an issue, because you might not do a lot of nighttime riding. You might not do a lot of country time riding. You know, it might not really be an issue, and it's not. It really isn't for the bike. If you do a lot of nighttime riding, then I would suggest not just upgrading the bulb. What a lot of riders will do is they'll put an LED bulb in. Now, it's almost certainly going to have a terrible pattern on that LED bulb, because the LED bulb doesn't have a point. The LEDs are quite spread out inside the bulb, and so you just have a terrible pattern on the light. And I know the MOT people are clamping down on it, so chances are if you fit an LED bulb in there, it's going to fail. If you want to use your ZSB to do a lot of nighttime riding, then I would definitely just go for a headlamp upgrade. Now, whether you can find one with a small 5-inch, is it 6-inch lamp or 5-inch lamp? I think it's a 6-inch lamp. Whether you can find one that's a 6-inch lamp, I don't know. Most of them are 7-inch, I would have thought. There's quite a lot of wiring in the back of this, quite old school. There's quite a lot of wiring in the back of the headlamp for the clocks and ignition key and all the connections for the bike. So you need one that's actually got enough space in the back to put that in. But I guess if you find one that's got a metal reflector and can take a H4 bulb, that would be a lot better idea. Though whether the charging system's up to running a 55 watt, it's only a 35 watt bulb in here. Whether they can run the high capacity bulb, possibly, I don't know. Anyway, enough about the headlamp. So if you don't do a lot of nighttime riding and you just need a brighter headlamp, then a miles better choice for daytime riding, if you want daytime visibility, is the daytime riding light. Now, as the name suggests, it's about being visible. It's about creating a contrast between the back of the bike and the headlight. The daytime riding light is massively superior than putting an upgraded headlight on the bike, in my view, for daytime riding. Of course, for nighttime riding, you need the good headlight, and that's what a headlight's for. And if you look at modern cars or other vehicles, they tend to have different lights for different purposes. Now, for nighttime, right, for high beam, you would have a projector light that's going to throw light down the road. For daytime light, you will have a very bright LED, but with a very diffused pattern on it that's going to throw light everywhere, which is exactly what you want in the daytime. You want something that's going to produce a very high contrast, so it's very visible to other people. It's going to throw light in all directions, because you want people in side roads to see you, you want pedestrians to see you. You don't want the light thrown right up the road, you want it diffused everywhere, and you want that high contrast. And the daytime riding light is designed to do that. This one is absolutely brilliant, and it's only a cheapie. I think it's a 9-watt lamp, but it really does produce a massive contrast. And I have got some video somewhere, see if I can dig it out, of riding with the in the daytime with the headlamp on dip, the headlamp on high, and then the daytime riding light, and you'll see the daytime riding light is massively superior in daytime conditions. Don't forget, these bulbs with the old style halogen bulbs, they produce quite a yellow light, where your daytime riding light is an LED. It's going to produce a very white light, and so that contrast is just so much better, so much brighter. So in my view, most people who complain about Lexmoto headlights, or even any little 125 headlights, it's not because it doesn't work very well overnight or for nighttime riding. It's because it's not producing enough contrast, and the answer to that is not to put a big bulb in, it's to produce a daytime riding light. Okay, right, so I'll just show you how the daytime riding lights have done it on this bike. So what I've done is I like to be able to turn the daytime riding light off, because overnight, if you are riding overnight, the daytime riding light is actually quite horrible, because it's throwing a lot of light out in the immediate vicinity. It reflects a lot. If you're riding down a country lane, it's going to really reflect. Also, it can dazzle oncoming drivers. It's not the correct light for using overnight. You know, the clue's in the name. It's a daytime riding light. So if you can turn that light off overnight, I think that is absolutely essential. Plus, if you're going for an MOT, you don't want that light on. Your MOT is going to see it on. He's not going to be happy with it. If you can turn it off, then it's great. So all I do with these, this is a brilliant solution. I really like the solution, is that you wire the daytime riding light to the low beam of the headlight, but you put a T-switch in there so that you either get the low beam or the daytime riding light. Okay, so what you need to do is, if you're riding in the day, you turn your headlights on, and you then have your T-switch set to daytime riding light. You only get your daytime riding light. As the light starts to fade of an evening, as you want to do it, you want to turn the daytime riding light, you want to go to headlamp, you flick over the headlight, the daytime riding light goes out and the headlight comes on, and the switch is just right here. And this is a really good solution, is that it's actually it's not just a T-switch, it's a three-way switch. So you can have no lights on at all, which this one's set to, which is a bit confusing. It makes me think that the lad's been riding this bike without his daytime riding light on. So position 1 is daytime riding light, position 0 is no light at all. You can actually turn the headlight out, which I quite like. I don't like the headlight on all the time. It's not always a good solution in the day to have that light on. Plus, if you do maintenance on the bike, it's nice to be able to turn the light off. And number 2, position 2 is headlight on, and that will give you normal high and low beam. But what you must remember is that, of course, when you're in daytime riding light, you must have the high beam set to low. If you set it to high, the high beam will come on. So if you set it to low, you'll get your daytime riding light as long as the switch is in daytime riding light position. Of course, another benefit of this, of not having a high bulb and using the daytime riding light, is that you maintain the use of your headlights. If you want to flash another driver out, or you want to use your flasher for whatever reason, it's a nice, great contrast. You're not on high beam, you're not on low beam, and then trying to flash someone, they can't see it. The headlight is off. When you flash them, the headlight comes on and it flashes them, and it's brilliant. It's a miles better solution. Okay, so I'll just go through the wiring for this now, and you can see how this is wired up. Okay, so this is how the headlight is wired up. So I'll just excuse this picture if it's a little bit crude. Okay, so here's my headlight. Okay, and we've now mounted the daytime riding light, and I think the video shows how I've mounted the daytime riding light to a little aluminium bracket and then just screwed it to the bottom of the yoke. So we've got our daytime riding light here. Okay, so outside our daytime riding light there's 2 wires. So our headlight has high, low, and there's an earth, and there's a side. Yeah, okay, so we're not, you can wire it to the side light if you want. I'm not, the problem with that, with this bike, is that it doesn't seem to have a separate side light, because it's a modern bike and the headlight's on all the time. It's actually wired to the low beam, not to the side light. But if you have a bike that's not got daytime riding lights, then the side lights are a good choice. And I think on my other bikes I've actually wired it to a side light, which is quite nice. So okay, so what you get is there's normally a plug on the back of here, that's got these three in. Okay, and side's normally a separate switch. So what I would do is, on the back of the plug, see the three wires going into the plug: low, high, earth. Ignoring the side light for now. I'm not going to worry about that one. I intercept this line, and I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, this is a white wire. Now what I've done with this is I put a spade connector onto here, and then a female spade connected onto here. So if there's ever a problem in the system, if everything goes wrong, so I'm going to intercept this line, but if there's ever a problem in the system, I can just reconnect this line back up, and then we'll be good to go. So what I've done is I've broke this line and fed it up to our T-switch. So we've got our T-switch here. I can spell switch, quite hard to spell. And we've got 3 positions on the switch. So I've wired it to the T-switch here, and all I do is, so we've got earth on here, and then we've got power here. So I've just, of course, all I've done is done this, wired this to power. This then goes back to the low beam, and this is how it works. So you've got power, position 2 on our switch, yeah, position 1 on our switch, position 2, and then the input power. So if you have this set at position 2, you get your low beam. If you have this is power in here, yeah. Pause. And this is from the handlebars. Well, it's actually not from the handlebars because there's no low beam switch. So, but anyway, you get the idea. So, and then we have the T switch there, and that's all the connection is. This now runs to earth, so you can wire this to earth. You can actually go to connect it to this earth. This is the best way to do it, is to actually connect it to this earth here and break into this line. Okay, so that's basically it, really. That's how the wiring works. So, when the bike's on low beam, it comes to here. If you have it on position 1, it sends it to the daytime riding light, and if you have it at position 2, it sends it to the headlight. If you have it on position 0, it sends it nowhere, and the headlight's off. High beam carries on to high beam, and the earth is the earth, and that's it basically. It's pretty straightforward wiring. It's easy to do. There's no separate fuses in there. I haven't actually put a fuse in there. We can cover that another day, how we fuse the bike. Can do an upgrade there on the fusing. So that's it. Any questions or queries, leave a comment. I know a lot of people disagree with this and think that headlight is an excellent daytime riding light. I completely disagree. Headlight makes a good nighttime light, and a daytime light makes a good daytime light. It's funny, but that's my view. But if you disagree, then leave a comment, and we'll cover it in the next video.